today?
We're good.
Good. My name's Georgie Cutright.
I'm Wanda Turner.
Wanda Turner.
Robert Turner.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, I was wondering, are you all from here?
We're from Kahoma. You probably just came
Yeah,
through there.
yeah, small little community, nice little community. Are you guys going to church today or coming back or?
We're not going today. We normally do, but we're not going today.
I was just asking because I'm looking for a church to go to right now. Any of them is as good as the other. We all get the message we need to hear, right?
Exactly.
You know, and that's what it's all about. Well, this is Lobos chewing on his new leash there, and this is Sarah. I was wondering, what? I mean, you said you were reading about us on Facebook or whatever. I was wondering, what made you stop to help out a stranger?
I love people.
Yes, I wish more people said that. You know,
A
God.
lot of times when you read something about somebody that's on a mission,
Yes.
do something, you want to try to help out.
Lobos ready to go.
You know, God said, love me and love your neighbor. And if we followed those two commandments, the other 8 would just kind of fall into place. And, so I love it when I meet wonderful people like yourselves and I get to, find out a little bit about you. And if you don't mind, follow me on Facebook. And when I get to California, I'm going to be coming back through, and I hope to talk to everybody that I spoke to, or that I shook hands with, or whatever, when we came through. So I'm going to do a documentary based on that. But I hope you guys have a great day.
You too.
And
be safe out there.
And I hope that God blesses you throughout this whole week and throughout this new year coming up, and that you're just very healthy and happy, and laughter and joy just follows you everywhere.
You kind of self-funded yourself on this journey, or?
I just rely on the kindness of strangers, man. Wow. Yeah, I just, I don't really carry anything extra, but I need new shoes right now.
Yes, you definitely do.
So I got this one taped up, and this one just blew out my flip-flop, man. See, I blew out my flip-flop.
Yeah, I see that. So.
Woo! Holy shamoly! Thank you. I'm gonna get them harnesses. That's really cool. Thank you.
The harnesses will get you some new shoes.
Okay, cool.
March right down the road.
Yeah, I'm headed that way right now. Well, thank you guys.
Evidently, you have several people that's following you.
Well,
That's good.
I think God's message will ring through, like I said earlier.
Absolutely.
No matter what your cause is, if it's good and you put God first in it, it'll be blessed.
Your life is blessed. That's the only thing we can attribute to our blessings too, is that God knows, and He's fulfilled our path.
Things lightweight, it rolls easily.
So what kind of wheels does it have?
It has ABCE 97 millimeter skateboard wheels.
Okay.
With sealed bearings.
So they'll last you the whole journey?
So far they have. I really need new ones. But I don't have a way to get them mailed to me, because you never know if they're going to take a week or 3 weeks or.
Yeah, not every place just carries those either. So.
No, they don't. I've been looking since Knoxville, where I started the journey. So I guess if it's meant to be, it'll happen, right?
Yeah, it will.
I'm not too worried about it. I was able to get a GoPro, even though I don't know how to work it yet. I've had that for a long time. It took me 8 months to figure out the passcode to that thing.
Oh, wow.
I just figured it out the other night.
Oh, wow.
I've been praying on it. I'm like, Lord, I don't have the money to go get a new one. I got a good one here. I just need to figure out the password. And something came over me, and like it did 1,000 times before that, and it wasn't right. But something came over, pressing GoPro Hero 3. And I did that, and it popped right on.
That's cool.
It should have been the first thing I checked, probably. But a lot of patience involved in figuring that thing out.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Peace,
I've
love,
got a couple of those that, not GoPros, but they're just general, just your action videos.
Yeah.
And, pretty simple, but those GoPros are a little bit more intricate. So.
Well, what I'm looking for is things, I don't necessarily need to share them now or edit them now. I need things to document my trip.
Exactly.
All, like the highlights and whatnot. I'd like to see it to get out of my homeless situation, I'd like to write a book or 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. And also, I want to see if maybe some producers or someone might be interested in buying the story or buying the rights to the film and then editing them themselves, you know. So that's my plan. Let's see if it works.
Well, sure.
It'll work if I believe it'll work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
God said you can move mountains.
That's right. There'll be a producer out there somewhere that will say,
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And if not, then, you know, I have some really cool video of doing some really incredible things with my best friends.
and you got some beautiful best friends.
You know, God gave all of us a gift, and we have it all around us, and it's a shame if we don't use it. There was a man in the Bible that gave his 3 sons a little bit of money, and when he came back, he asked for them to bring the money back. And one son brought back more than what his father gave him, and another son even brought even more back than that. And the 3rd son, he brought back nothing. And he said, well, I buried it. And he said, why'd you bury it? And he said, well, I didn't want to lose it. And he rebuked his son. He said, no, I don't want a son like that. What that tells me is God gave us what he gave us. And if we don't utilize what he gave us, then we're wasting it, and God will rebuke us. Is that almost like blasphemy, maybe? Because we're not using what God gave us. God gave us all, you know, a heart to love, like you just did. And so many people I know want to help or want to stop, and they just, you know, for whatever reason they don't. But certain people, God really puts it on their heart to come and help. And they call that alms. And alms is where we do with the left, what the right don't know. We do it out of the kindness of our heart with nothing expected in return. God really loves that, man. God loves that so much.
Well, you know, that's the thing about it. People are in need. You know, they ask sometimes, and you know, somebody told me one time, said, I give money to perfect strangers, you know, to help them out because they're in need. And I said, well, why do you do that? I said, well, you know, I don't have to answer for what I'm doing. I mean, if I give them the money and they use the money wrongfully, you know, that they have to answer to God. But for me, I don't. I don't have to answer to God for that. I give them the money out of the goodness of my heart. Hopefully, you never know. It's just like the Bible says, you know, you may be entertaining a stranger, an angel. You know.
Well, you know, the funny thing is here, is that who knows that maybe that person did go spend the money on the wrong thing, but who knows if a year, 5 years, 10 years down the road, they don't remember that and go, why did I do that? Oh, Lord, I'm so sorry for that. And they understand the complexity of what that does to certain people. Certain people are so turned off by that they don't ever give again.
Right.
And you know, and that's a shame, because in life we get burnt a lot. And, you know, and that's okay, you know. And a very smart, one of the most famous physicists in all the world has admitted that there is matter and antimatter, and they have no clue why there was a little bit more abundance of the matter, the good matter versus the evil matter, and put on this earth. And matter is what we are.
Exactly.
Everything in this universe is either matter or antimatter, good or evil. If you touch antimatter, it blows up and kills you. If you touch matter, it feels good usually. Usually. You know, there's cactuses.
It's like we know that God created the time, space, and matter that we live in, you know. And it's hard for us to imagine somebody that can create that. He can't be contained in that. He made that himself, you know. So time, space, and matter is what we're all about until our Lord comes again.
Until the Lord comes. While we're in the flesh, it's all about based on time. That's it.
And it's why he says, I'm the beginning and I'm the end, you know.
Well, they're trying to figure out how it's created. Well, obviously, it was created by God.
Yeah.
If this whole universe wasn't, then explain to me, man, how did it happen?
Yeah.
You've been trying to create it all this time, but you still had to do something to create it. It just doesn't happen on its own.
You just can't get something from nothing.
No.
It just didn't happen.
It just does not happen.
And I think Hawkins, I think he's beginning to realize that too. He's beginning to realize that it just didn't happen accidentally. that something had to put it together in its perfectness, because there's just no way that it could accidentally happen like this.
No.
He actually made that comment.
He also has commented on AI as being a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
I believe in times to come, it's already said that it's God. It's already said that it wants to destroy humanity. It's said that several times. And those things, even though it's said later on that it's a joke, it's not. We all wear a chip.
Yeah.
We all wear a chip in our hand or on our head already.
Our credit cards.
Our credit card has a chip in it. In other words, this thing is an all-knowing being soon. And what happens when it runs out of things to learn from us?
Yeah.
And what's our usefulness? The only thing we're doing is destroying the planet. And if it wants to do good by Earth and man, it needs to destroy half of us. And that's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
but God doesn't want that.
No.
And he said, actually the creator of Google just opened up a new church devoted to these AIs.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
yeah, and the developer of Tesla Engineering, he says that AI is one of the most dangerous things we could ever build. That within 20 years, and 20 years ago, they said that they wouldn't even have dancing robots yet, okay? 20 years ago. So that shows you how fast technology is growing. So if they say in 20 years, I believe it to be 2 or 3, because it shows throughout history the computer has doubled in power every year. You know, the iPhone 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, and all you have to do is go to a restaurant or anywhere else and watch people while they're eating, and they're all sitting there on their phones.
You mean you actually watch people? I understood that. I mean, I heard you say I watch people and watch them watch their phones. This has become one of the most damaging things to our relationship with God. Communication, and they said, you know, and they didn't understand things flying in the air. They understood it as a horse or a chariot. They didn't have words for what we have now. So they had to describe it in their own words. So we're stupid if we don't think that we see all these things flying over. And you know, anyways, this right here and money is really irrelevant soon. Really what it is it's just imaginary, because now we have money on the computer. We can't even hold it in our hands, so it's imaginary. What we buy with money, it's imaginary. Really, we could use barter, we could use trade. You know, we could use several things to get what we need, but we use an imaginary thing that really means nothing. It's based on what people think it's worth. And those people that worship money, they worship something that they can never really, I mean, they can have all the paper in the world, but at some point it becomes no good.
And it never will make them happy.
And no, I mean, I've never seen an unhappy person on a jet ski unless it was broken. But, you know, but the fact is God wants us to flourish. He wants us to love everything that He's created, even the bad. So I'm just reminded that no matter what happens in my life, if I thank God for it and I just keep on putting God first, better things will keep happening. And I pray things have been. So I'm not really worried about what I don't know, because I've never been in this part of my life before. So how can I be worried? People are like, aren't you scared? I'm like, nobody's ever done this. How can I be scared of it?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
you know,
there's more nice people in the world than there are.
There was extra good matter
put
out there. Even the physicists say it, and it's what created this world, was the extra little bit of good matter. And so we were created in God's image, and then we became sin.
Yep, exactly.
You know, and I wonder sometimes if God just keeps us around, so maybe someday He could get a surprise. Well, even though He can't, and He knows that, but wouldn't it be neat if someone could just surprise God? It'll never happen, but if somebody just all of a sudden said, I love you, God, and God was like, I did not expect that. You know, wouldn't that be cool?
I know, that's, you know, you know, an all-knowing God, you know, He knew when He created man, you know, and it got to the point where He was sad that He even made man, and then He destroyed it with a flood, you know, and did that, and save Adam, I mean, save Noah and his family, you know, and then kind of start the whole process. He knows He knows the ultimate concept and where everything's going, but he gave us, at least he gave us a free will to make a choice in our own lives. So we can either choose him or go the other direction.
God didn't make you drunk, put the keys in your car, make you get a DUI. God didn't do any of that. God would God probably gave you a good way out. And I've noticed that what I rebuke in sin, what I deny myself in sin, I get that in a blessing. Like if I would have went out and got drunk and chased a woman, I mean that's pleasurable sometimes, it's a certain bit, I guess. But if I was to do that, then what would this mission stand for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I did do those things, and don't think it hasn't crossed my mind. I'm a man, but
self-gratification. That's
yeah.
exactly, what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so as I go along, I keep on thinking. Honestly, I think, what would Jesus do? And I mean, I've heard that before, and before I found God, I was like, that's silly. But now that I practice it, I understand it. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this instance? Would Jesus walk by, or would he stop? I see a man that's struggling, and like you did, and I stop to help, and I help in any way I can, and I hope that what I did betters him. I'm not worried about what happens to me so much.
Jesus is all about, doing the good thing and sharing his love.
Yes.
Of course, the love of his Father.
Yes.
And that's what in life is all about. With him, he knew ultimately what he was gonna have to face, but he always made the choice of it's God first, it's love first.
Yes.
And the truth.
The truth.
And that's the thing he was always about. So.
Well, it's pretty nice.
Well,
I got my church.
We sure hope you.
I got my church. I did, didn't I? Didn't you?
Yes.
Hey, we were going to church, and I got church right here. God bless you. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much for helping.
Please be safe on your journey, and
thank you.
nice to meet you.
He does want to play, doesn't he?
He does.
I'd like to shake your hand again before I go.
Yes, sir. Let me get your name again.
Georgie Cutright.
George Cutright.
Georgie.
Georgie. Okay.
Well, my name is George, but I go by. Yeah.
Georgie.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to play.
He wants to go. That's his way of saying, Dad, I'm ready to go.
So you were in Westbrook yesterday?
No, I've been in this motel for a couple of days, letting them rest up. I've been doing that quite a bit. When I hit about 1,000 miles, there won't be too much resting because there won't be any more motels.
Right, I got you.
So, I found a $40 a night motel, and one of my friends put me up in there.
Well, that's good. That was good. Well, we wish you the best and safe trip.
Thank you. I'm gonna go get some new shoes.
Okay, good deal.
We'll talk to you later.
Right.
I hope you find us on Facebook.
We will.
Do you have a business card?
She's got you.
No? Okay, well, just look me up. I don't answer messages very often, so comment on my posts.
Got you.
Peace, love, and joy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner, Mrs. Turner.
You too, George. Good to meet you.
Thank you.